Hi, my name's Phil Clayton, and you're watching me on Run Forest Run TV. Hi, my name's Phil Clayton. And I run a swimming business right here at Tallabudgera Creek. Very wonderful office. I got a surf life-saving background, grew up in the ocean, and I've moved from there into the open water swimming realm, and I love my life. So I'm originally from Wollongong and on the south coast, the Illawarra. I grew up in a family of surf lifesavers. So my father was the president of North Wollongong Surf Club. My mum also worked within the surf club. So my life was breakfast, lunch and dinner. We talked about it. From that, I come from the realm where Darren Mercer, Dean Mercer, Jonathan Crowe, Todd Ball and Reece Drury, they were the guys that I grew up watching and training with. The difference with the Gold Coast and Wollongong was that there wasn't individual training groups. We all trained in one group. So it didn't matter what surf club you were in, we're all a part of the one group. From that, at a young age, I decided that surf life saving was going to be something that I wanted to venture into. And because of the influence of my dad and dragging me out of bed every morning into a nice cold pool of Unanderra, I started to swim okay. I could already paddle a board, and ski paddling was taught by Greg Fattel. And once I learnt that, I combined the three together and I went okay as an Ironman. I was quite fortunate to come through the cereal wars, which was the Kellogg's Nutrigrain battling it out with the Uncle Toby's Ironman. And for me as a young kid, 16 years of age, that meant that I could jump in the Kellogg's. I started off in the under-18 Ironman and then I worked my way up into the Opens. As an under-18 junior, I was doing both the junior and the senior and had a little bit of success there. And then at the age of 18, I decided to put all my eggs in one basket, and my coach then, Jonathan Crowe, talked me into going into the Uncle Toby's. My first year off record, I think it was 1993, long time ago. I went into there with very big eyes, racing my heroes, Trevor Hendy, Jonathan Crowe, all those guys, Guy Andrews. I had a pretty good year. My first 4 races, I was struggling a bit because I thought they were my heroes and they were unbeatable. It took me about 5 races to realise they were human. Once that happened, I was pretty comfortable, and I finished the year off with a third, a second, and then in the very last race, Trevor Hendy and I battled it out for an hour and a half, and I got him in the last leg and ended up winning. That there ended up putting me in third overall, so my very first year in the professional series as an 18-year-old, I came third overall, which was pretty thrilling for a young kid. From there, it was an up and down ride for me as an Ironman. I had quite a few wins. I think in total, at the end of my career, it was about 11 Uncle Toby's wins, which was great. Got to battle it out with some of my best mates, with Stephen King, Brett Tyack. I got to make friendships for life that still to this day, it's lasting. And I think sport in general is just such a wonderful thing for anyone growing up to be involved with. 1, for the health factor, but 2, for friendship. And I think that my life back then in the Uncle Toby's and the Ironman series is what's created some wonderful friendships that are still going on today. One of the biggest events that I won in my life would have to be in 2000. They had the world titles down at Manly Beach, and great opportunity to race all the Australians plus the internationals, and I came away with the win. So to be classed as a world Ironman champion is it's a pretty good accolade that I was pretty chuffed about. From that, I've had an amazing life. Going through all the memories, one of the most common things people ask about is the Baywatch episode. Us Ironmen were lucky enough to go over there and join Pamela Anderson and David Hasselhoff in LA. We had to do a Baywatch episode where we were there racing the lifeguards. Limousine went off one of the piers there, and both the American Ironmen and the Australian Ironmen ran in our red togs, and we dived off the pier, and we all carried I can't believe they ran it, but we all carried a limousine out that still had the people inside of it. If you want to have a good laugh, look it up. It's a very funny episode, but more than anything, that's what was created through the life of being involved with sport. We had so many wonderful opportunities. I think out of the whole of the world, I think the only continent I've not raced on was Antarctica. So I've got to travel the world. I've raced all around the place. I've still got friends in Japan, in Finland, in America. I get to see friends all around the world. In England, I'm going over to catch up with a mate from over there that I used to race against. So I think the world of sport is something that allows people to, I talk about a lot, build friendships, but get to travel the world and have a wonderful time. So the life as an Ironman progressed on to being a coach. I realised that I actually got more of a thrill out of coaching people than I did actually winning myself. I started off at Kurrawa Surf Club there, and I worked my way up to be a head coach. Had some wonderful success there and great times with a lot of fun people. That progressed on further and further. My last coaching gig was with Burleigh Heads Mowbray Park. I was the head coach there, and then COVID hit. In COVID, I ended up deciding with my wife that we were going to start up a swimming business. Now, this started quite a while before that. So in 2000, I think it was 15 or 16, one of my best mates, Trevor Hendy, asked me to go and run one of his open water swimming clinics over in Lord Howe Island. And I never forget it. If you've never been to Lord Howe Island, I think it's the best spot on earth. Pine Tree Lodge is by far the best place I've ever stayed. After the end of that 1 week, I sat down with my wife and kids and I said, I think I've found the business that I want to be involved in, and that was open water swimming. From that, I got an invite by the Australian the Australian Open Water Swimming to go over to Rio and do a site check for the Rio Olympics. So I travelled there with my old swimming coach, Ron McCann. Did a lot of work with a lot of information for both the open water swimmers and the triathletes. And from there, my open water swimming business started. I then worked with Swimming Australia and did a lot of work with them and their under 23 development squad. Jared Port and the guys going over there and racing in Rio. And from that, came back home, and one of my best mates, Ty Dowker, was running, back then it was called Swimming 101. We paired up and we had a great time. We did some amazing events. We took people all around the Gold Coast, lots of different open water swimming venues and large numbers. And from that, my business, I left the Surf Lifesaving, which was Burleigh Heads, Burleigh Heads Surf Club. And I left that and went into open water swimming, and it started off with a little group and it got bigger and bigger. So now I run PC & Co Swim, which is based out of Tallabudgera Creek here. I think at the moment we've got about 14 staff underneath us, which is amazing. They're very passionate people, including coaches and people that help out running the business. We're here Monday, Tuesday, Thursday at the creek. On Fridays we swim at Burleigh Heads. I also have other businesses, which is we do Swim Program 1, which is I'm really passionate about. Swim Program 1 and 2 is where I actually teach people how to swim in the ocean. One of the biggest misconceptions with the ocean is that people don't understand it. So they walk down to the beach, they dive in, they don't have a clue where a rip is, where a sandbank is, what the water's doing, how it's moving. So my job is to teach them. We do a 30-minute theory on the top of Miami Hill, and I point out where the rip is so they can learn to identify it. We then come down to ground level and we find that rip from ground level so people can see where it is. Then we go out, we swim. Swim Program 1, I teach them how to get in and out through the break comfortably. There's a lot of safety mechanisms you can actually use so that if you do get in trouble, you can get yourself out of that pretty quick. From that, once I tick them off in Swim Program 1, they then progress to Swim Program 2, and that's where I find a really big, strong rip. Then we go down and we actually jump in that rip. I teach them how to get out of it when they're in a really panic situation, and it's amazing how many people get themselves in a situation and try and swim straight back to the shore. They don't know that there's really simple tricks to get out of it and where the safe zones are, and I'm really passionate about that because there's so many people that live here on the Gold Coast that actually don't understand how the ocean works. And when you do know how it works, it's very thrilling to go down there and have a great time in it. From that, we've also got a lot of different things coming up. I'm now working with the British Triathlon team. I'm not too far away. I'm about 30 days away from heading over to Paris for the Olympics. I've been with them since 2000 and I think it was 19 before Tokyo. They come out here every year and do about a 7 or 8 week tour. They stay here at Burleigh Heads, base themselves out of Tallabudgera. My job as a coach is to expose them to different scenarios that might occur in the race. So to give you an example, it's race starts, pontoon starts, pack swimming, open water swimming. We do a lot of work down towards surface and Kurrawa Beach because that's such open, raw water. We also head to Coolangatta where it's nice and smooth and clean. I like to pit them against the Aussies. There's a lot of surf lifesavers in Australia that are very good at their craft. I invite them along and they jump in and teach them a few things or two. From that, we'll go over to Paris. I get to watch the men's and the ladies and the relay, and fingers crossed we have some great success. So if there's anyone out there that's interested in starting their swimming journey, we have 3 different categories in PC & Co Swim. That is our foundation. So if you're afraid of the water, you're too scared to get in, we have Mary Dupre, who's one of the most amazing coaches, will take you under her wing. She'll teach you the real fundamentals of starting off your swimming journey, which is your breathing, your stroke correction, what your arms should be doing above and below the water, how to kick, how to keep your body in line. From there, you progress up into our swim start. We've got a number of coaches that jump in there. Now, that's got a little bit more technique work with a little bit more distance. So you'll learn to swim across the creek. You'll be guided the whole time by a coach on a board. So safety is paramount with our group. Once you tick that box, you can then come up and join me and a few other coaches in our squad. Now, our squad every session gets between 1.8 and some days we have 3Ks. So that's split up. Every week's different. We've just come off endurance week, sprint week, kick week. We do all different things. We're right in recovery week now, which is everyone's favourite. That means that we make sure we bring everyone back so they're relaxed and they can turn up every week. If you're interested in joining us, jump on philclaytonandco.com. You'll be able to have a look on our website at everything that's available. There's plenty on there. If you've got any questions, just send us an email. If you're nervous about getting involved in winter, we do a lot of work with Valere, which is up at Southport. It's a wetsuit brand. They're wonderful to our community, and they've got an amazing range of wetsuits that keeps everyone warm. Now, jumping in the water here, we're quite lucky on the Gold Coast. It's still 22 degrees at the end of May, which is unbelievable. So if you don't like the cold, they'll look after you. Jump on and have a look at them, which is Valere. They're a wonderful community group that look after our wetsuits for our swimmers here on the Gold Coast.
Valere designs cutting-edge triathlon wetsuits, swim skins, clothing, and accessories for performance athletes and active lifestylers. Worn globally by Olympians and age groupers alike. We are the cheeky Aussie underdog. No pretense, no ego, just great designs. World-class designs, crafted by passionate athletes who scour the globe searching for the latest fabrics, neoprenes, and sports technology to create class-leading performance products. Valere HQ is located in Surfers Paradise, Australia, renowned as a surfing and training mecca for the world's best endurance athletes. Our styling is a fusion of surf culture and groundbreaking triathlon technology. The result is comfort with uncompromised performance.